The Zealand Jetsprint track in Wanganui, the traditional opening round of the 6-round Jet Pro New Zealand Jet Sprinting Championship. And once again, the weather had played its part and the crowds had turned out in their hundreds. A new season, a new beginning for lots of competitors, but some of the old favourites were back. Who would emerge victorious in the Scott Waterjet International Group A? Shane Wood had had his problems in the earlier qualifying, and he would have problems right throughout the day. Mechanical issues dogging the aggressive Wellingtonian. Andrew Guthrie and Janine Ingram had finished as high as top 3 in the seasons past, but they had problems as well. Their best of a 103.4, seeing them not go any further than 15th place. It's a baptism of fire for Stu and Jeff White as well. Qualified in 14th place with a 100.8. But had problems negotiating the islands. Brian and Neil McDonald, best time of a 100.2 was good enough for 13th place for this father and future son-in-law combination. Neil, hailing from Scotland, first time he tried anything like this. Mark Jertliff was back for another season along with Greg Fuge in the double-driven boat of Choco Smith, 12th place here at Wanganui. Blair Gibbard and Joe Bayliss were ready to crack the 1 minute mark. They did that. It was good enough for 11th place, but it still wasn't what they were looking for. In 10th place with Mark Newdick, like his son, making the move up from the Jet Pro lights. They found the competition stiff at Wanganui. And in 9th place was Richard Murray and Kirsty Manning with a brand new boat and engine combination. Wasn't good enough to get them into the 8, and Richard Murray suffering the double duty of organising the event as well. So on to the top 16, and Baden Gray and Tanya Imunga topped the list with a 52.192. Second place, second in the World Championships in Sydney just a couple of months ago, Reg and Julie Smith with a 52.537. And Sam Newdick, what a debut in International Group A, third quickest heading into the 8th. Christchurch-born, this transplanted mainlander now lives in Wellington. Double driving the boat with the vastly experienced Red Smith has meant an accelerated learning curve for Phil Whelans and navigator Darren Judd. Hugely passionate about the sport and its future, Phil put his money where his mouth is and sponsored the recent World Series here in New Zealand. So it is Phil Whelans and Darren Judd to go first. I'm joined in commentary by Jamie McCarthy. Well, Jamie, another season, some new boats, some new combinations. We're into something special here at Shelter View. Yeah,
exactly right, Phil. I'm really looking forward to this. It's been a big off-season. This is a spectacular-looking new race boat for Red Smith and Phil Whelans. Brand new white pointer Stinger hull.
Well, as usual, he's been getting lots of assistance from Red Smith. This is a brand new combination, the boat and engine. It seems to be working for them. They're looking pretty good at the moment. Let's see what the split time will be.
Had some issues early down in the 113s, improved to a 57.3, then had a slight navigational error, and their fastest lap up until now has been a 54.578, coming up towards the split, 32.49.
32.49, that's not bad. That's setting the pace. This is the first of the top 8 here at Shelter View. It's the first round of 6 for the Jet Pro New Zealand Jet Sprinting Championships.
406 cubic inches of Chev small block, over 600 horsepower. The most immaculate setups in the sport here in New Zealand.
And the closest racing we'll see on the water. Oh, and there's a problem there. How did he save that? He got it through the finish line, but I don't know how he did it, Jamie.
Sometimes driving harder is not always the best way, and I knew that sitting at 7th, if I wanted to get to 4th, I had to try harder, and pushed it probably a wee bit too hard, and when I knew we were out of control, I thought, oh no, here we go. Reg is going next, and he's going to want the boat board home, so I just kept the boot in it and thought, well, she's going to end up in the water sooner or later, and as soon as I hit the water, she got me home, so yeah, it's just touch and go.
55.
Well, Phil, if he claims that as a shortcut, it was creative at best.
Well, I'll tell you what, there'd be none more nervous watching that than Red Smith on the sideline, because that boat is double driven. So is this one, and this is Baden Gray at the helm along with Tanya Imunga. The boat is Ting Tools Racing.
Current 3NZ, and they've been the second quickest boat throughout the day. His teammate Bevan Muir, the current 1NZ's been quickest.
That's right, Jamie, did a 51.843 in the 16. This is the 8.
Yeah, Baden Gray, he did a 52.192 in the 16. This is a pretty solid run early. Let's see what the split equates to.
Well, 32.49 for Phil Whelans. You get the feeling it's quicker. It is 29.85 for Ting Tools Racing.
That is right on the pace right now. That is right up there with what they've been doing so far this weekend.
And look at that, he's driving right down the centre of the course, or boating as they say in jet sprinting parlance. This is going to be fast, Jamie. He's only got a couple of corners to negotiate, then it's a straight out sprint to the finish. Let's hope he does it a bit more tidy than Phil Whelans. He does. 51.65. That's the fastest we've seen.
So next out is Gary Smith in Bling It On. He's going to be trying pretty hard to top that lap.
Well, I was talking to Gary before we started this round, and he said he wasn't that happy with his performance last year. He was looking for something a bit special. Will he get it here at Shelter View Raceway? It's round 1 of the Jet Sprinting Championships. You're riding here with Choco and Suzanne Shirley.
Gary had a couple of big offs last year at Gisborne and Featherston. Fastest lap to date's been a 54.822, so needs a big improvement here in the 8 to try and get through to the 4.
Well, he's going to be struggling with that sort of time, so he needs to pull out something pretty special. This boat, another one that's double driven. 32.10 at the split. Well, it's faster than Phil Whelans, but it's not even in the same stratosphere as Baden Gray.
Nearly 2.5 seconds down on Teng Tools Racing, so the second half of the lap's going to have to be something pretty special here from Gary Smith.
32.10 at the split. What can he do as he brings it down towards the finish line now? It's not going to be anywhere near the 51s. It's going to be a 54. 54.90. At the moment, that's good enough, but you get the feeling that may not hold up. Well, this combination, certainly one of the more experienced these days. This is Ray and Nicky Ferguson. They flirted a little with Suzuki Superboat last year, but they're back where they belong, and that is in the Scott Waterjet International Group A. Nicky does the navigation, Ray does the driving.
Phil, that's an interesting word, flirt, when you're driving over 700 cubic inches of superboat.
Well, that's right. They were driving Dad's boat. They got that out of their system, though, and I was talking to Ray before, and he gets a little bit nervous before the first run of the day. He was sort of pensive. He was pacing up and down, just wondering what would happen.
Another white pointer, Stinger Hull, we're right on board. He's been solidly in the 54s all day. 31.79 for the split, so a touch quicker than Gary Smith. Quicker than Phil Whelans, but nowhere near the pace of Baden Gray right now.
No, there's not going to be too many that are going to get up to that pace, I would think. Listen to the engine, and that is the sign of a fast run in International Group A. The exhaust note hardly changes, and that means the throttle's on the floor.
Time coming up for Ray and Nicky Ferguson, 54.18. Will that be enough to get them into the 4?
54.17 puts you close to the 4.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, hopefully it sort of might scrape through, but yeah, we're sort of struggling all day with boat speed, but yeah, hopefully that might have put us through with a bit of luck. But yeah, I'm not counting my chickens yet.
I guess it all depends if Blake does a blinder or not in this next time.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's been on fire today too. Eh? There's a few of the boys out there are pretty quick this year, so it's going to take some beating. Eh?
Well, jet sprinting is all about eliminations, and we're getting to that stage now in the top 8 here in the International Group A. We're getting set to start putting drivers and boats on the trailer. Phil Whelans now is the time to beat, the 55.66. It should be meat and drink to this guy. He's the son of a famous father, and he's been going fast since the get-go.
Blake Bryan and Jono Randall. Bryan taking over the family mantle with no Peter Bryant this year as dad, and no Rex Bryant, who before Bevan Muir's win last year won 4 consecutive New Zealand Group A titles. He's using all of the course as he comes up to the split.
That's the corner you've got to get just absolutely dead right. What's it going to be? Low 30s is what we're looking for. 31.30, 1.19 seconds quicker than Whelans. So Whelans is in a bit of strife, but so too was Blake Bryant then. He got so close to putting it on the island.
He's trying hard. He's got the boat up out of the water. There's the time to beat, 55.66. You just hear the engine on the rev limiter as it got up out of the water. Here's the time to the line.
He's going to be in the 53s. He is in the 53s, 53.94, and we say goodbye to Phil Whelans and the hire company. Well, this is Sam Newdick, and what a sensation he was last season in the Jet Pro Light. Second to Dave Stone the year before. He won it in his first attempt. He's made the big step up. The time to beat now is the 54.90 of the vastly experienced Gary Choco Smith. But the way Newdick's been driving, Jamie, I expect him to go a little bit quicker.
Well, this boat's been solidly in the 53s all day. Peaked at a 53.2 in the qualifying session. So Has he got a 52 in the boat here at the moment? Beautifully presented, and he's just a young guy. Great to see him in the Scott Waterjet Group A class.
He said it took him a while to learn that this thing had a little bit more horsepower. Pretty sure it's the same white pointer hull, the Stinger hull, but the engine's had the big tickle up. And the split is a 30.28, and that's the second fastest we've seen, and it's 1.82 seconds faster than Gary Smith. So Gary Smith will be chewing his fingernails down to the elbows watching this on the sidelines.
Well, a 54.9 to beat. He's been solidly in the low 53s.
Oh, he looks like he's got the last series of corners right too, and it is a 52.91. So he puts Gary Smith on the trailer. Not a bad debut in Group A.
No, not bad, not bad. I said I wanted to make top 4, ideally, and so far it looks like we have. So
I guess the next question is there more on the boat? Is there more in Sam?
I hope there's more on the boat. I don't know about the nerves at the moment.
You're pushing pretty hard?
Yeah, trying to push as hard as we can, you know.
Well, we've seen this boat before. This is the Hire Company. This is a brand new boat for the team this year. And this is their, well, not so much their star driver, but their vastly experienced driver. This is Reg and Julie Smith. You're riding with them here.
Had a fantastic result at the UAM Worlds in Australia recently.
That's right, 2 rounds in Australia. They finished second equal. In that fact, it was a 3-way tie for second between Reg, Derek Sadigas and Brooke Dixon. They couldn't separate them after 2 rounds of racing, so he's hot. He brings that talent here to Wanganui. What can he do?
Well, he's been quick all weekend. He's peaked at a 52.5 in the top 16, so he's pretty much been the 3rd quickest boat on the water right throughout qualifications.
Will we see a sub-29 split? No, we won't, but it's very close, 30.02.
2/10 quicker than Sam Newdick, so he's on a flyer here.
And he's been watching every time that the 10 Tools racing boat goes out, whether it's Bevan or it's Baden. He's been watching and studying the form of that boat. He's worked out that they're the combination to beat.
On the run to the line, the white pointer, 52.22. That's a great lap from Reg Smith.
Well, this is the New Zealand #1 in the Scott Waterjet International Group A. They struggled in Australia. Both him and Baden went to Australia and they finished 9th and 11th respectively. Time to beat now, the 53.94 of Blake Bryant. You're on board here with Bevan Muir and Kathy Barker.
Well, you'd think that'd be a tough lap to beat, but Bevan Muir's had a 51.843 in the top 16.
Jamie, can you believe it? The New Zealand champion's gone wrong. That's a navigational error. Well, that is going to cost him in the points. Have a look at this on the split screen. His teammate, Baden Gray, on the left, Bevan Muir on the right. Watch Muir. He turns right. He should have turned left first. He didn't do it. He's out of the competition. Sensation here at Wanganui. Here it is from the onboard. There is the moment. Bevan Muir will rue this because it could have cost him a national title in the Scott Waterjet Group A class. He'll finish the run. It'll blow out to well over a minute. It does. But he won't be happy.
They'll just come around and just had a blink. Yep, nah.
We talked before, you got to have a good round every time. Unfortunately, that's come back and bitten you a wee bit.
Would have been nice if it was a top 4 run, but it'll be a long way back now.
So results for the top 8 sees Baden Gray, the teammate of Bevan Muir, on top with a 51.65, the only one in the 51s. In second place, it's the veteran Reg Smith, and in third place, it's the newbie, and that is Sam Newdick. Making his much anticipated debut in the sport, his immediate family has owned for years, Blake Bryant, son of Peter and Robin and nephew of Rex, proved the acorn doesn't fall far from the tree. Immediately on the pace in Marsh Motorsport. If last year was the learning curve, this year it's about the championship. Watch out for number 52, and his opposition better watch out as well. So this is Marsh Motorsport. Blake Bryant at the wheel. And you can't tell me, Jamie, that he hasn't picked up a few things, a few nuances from his famous uncle and his equally famous father.
Well, you wouldn't have a better pairing to be your teachers, would you? I mean, he was one of the big improvers in the Group A class last season for the New Zealand Championship. So, as you said, Phil, he's got great pedigree.
Well, it gets serious now because we're down to the top 4 in the Scott Waterjet International Group A here at round 1 of the National Championship. Will Blake Bryant go any further? We'll know very shortly. Looking for the split time. It is a 31.50.
It's about 2/10 slower than what he did the previous run, so he's on or about that sort of high 53.9 second pace.
That's right, a 31.30 in his top 8 run. Only 3 boats in the 31s and the 8. This is the 4 though. We start again with a clean sheet, remember. looking for a time round about the 53-second mark, 53.91 for Blake Bryan.
We could have done a bit better than that. I just couldn't quite get those hairpins sorted, but oh well, can only get better, I suppose.
Of course, Bevan Muir having that massive...
Well, that hairpin up by the announcer's tower here at Shelter View is the money corner. Let's see what Sam Newdick and Jono Randall can do. Here they go. Wet Dream Racing is the boat, making their debut in International Group A for 2010.
And you could say that about the majority of the courses around New Zealand, Phil. They all have one unique corner that all of the drivers have got to get right. And if you don't get it right, it costs you the lap.
That's right. And you've got the combination here at Wanganui of the tyres and the islands. And what's more important is what's submerged under that muddy brown water, and that's a few shelves.
There's been a few laps on this course throughout the weekend, 30.96 for Newdick. So he's lost 7 tenths from his previous split in the top 8. So he's going to have some work to do in the second half of the lap.
Well, talking to some of the experienced drivers, they say the conditions have changed. Maybe some water's drained out of the course. Don't know what it is, but everyone's been a little bit slower so far.
So he needs to improve on a 53.94 to get ahead of Blake Bryan. He does that with a 52.73, his fastest lap of the weekend. Is it enough for the two?
We got you to 52.73.
273. It's always better to throw fast ones as you progress, isn't it?
Well, the only fly in the ointment is that Reg's last run was a 52.22.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit of a nail in the coffin there, hopefully. But, well, for Reg anyway, not for us. But we'll see. Stranger things have happened.
Interesting to note, Jamie, you can feel the intensity, all the drivers looking at their opposition, looking at their times, analysing what they've got to do. This is Reg and Julie Smith. He knows what he's got to do. He's got to beat the 53.91 of Blake Bryan to be in the hunt, and he's got to do, I would think, he's got to be in the low 52s. Maybe if he can pull off a 51, that should assure him a spot.
Well, I think that's where he's going to need to be. Sam Newdick is safe for now. One thing's just this course has changed a little bit since the previous runs. There's been a lot of traffic over the course. Looking for the split, 30.10. That is quick, 1.4 seconds quicker than Blake Bryan.
Well, I spoke to Reg before the racing started this morning, and he said he's got the confidence levels up. The trip to Australia really helped out. The new boat probably doesn't hurt either. 53.91, the time to beat Blake Bryan. He should do that. But is he going to go all the way? Can it be a dream start for the man from Taupo, the most experienced man on the water? 52.17.
52.17, well that's not bad considering I wasn't happy with that run at all, Phil. I was bouncing around a bit, hit the rev limiter a couple of times, so not too unhappy with that if that was the result, yeah.
Well, it is on this man's shoulders now. This is Baden Gray and Tanya Imunga. And can they pull out another 51-second run? Are they going to have to do another 51? It's a bit of a shame, Jamie, when you do a 52.73, your first round of International Group A, and you're in danger of being eliminated, because that's what is going to happen to Sam Newdick.
Well, we've seen Blake Bryan on the trailer with a 53.9. He is out of the final. No chance for him to go through, so Sam Newdick now sits on the bubble. Split coming up for Bevan Muir, the fastest combination over the weekend.
30.49.47 of a second up on Newdick. And you see on the onboard shot how the water's rushing over the bow of the boat, so they've got this boat trimmed perfectly. Have a look here, you'll see the water rushing down into the cockpit.
And saying that, Phil, he was about 6 tenths off his previous best in the top 8, so not quite as quick as his first run here.
Well, can he bring it home quickly? He can, but 52.38, he probably won't be happy with that. Baden Gray, or is there more in the boat?
No, there's more on me, mate. It's just more steering. Smoother, yeah.
So if we have a look at the top 4, it's the top 2 we're interested in. 52.179 for Reg Smith. He will meet Baden Gray in the final. This is the 2. This is the money round, if you like. This is what everyone's come here to see. This is Scott Waterjet International Group A. It's the final stanza of round 1 of 6, and you're on board with Baden Gray and Tanya Imunga. They were the slowest into the 2, so they go first.
Well, Reg Smith was the only boat that went quicker in the top 4 run, and Baden alluded to the fact that he's got some more time up his sleeve. So what can Ting Tools Racing do here? Split coming up.
Just thought he drifted a little bit wide there, Jamie. Let's have a look at the split, though, in the 2. Wow, it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
That's his quickest split of the weekend.
29.65. He's going to make Reg work for this, I can tell you.
Great lap. Let's see what it equates to at the end of the run, but this is very, very quick. Something special coming up here from Baden Gray.
I think so, and it's really thrown down the gauntlet to Reg Smith. It's going to be in the 51s. It is easily 51, 55.
No second place
Well,
today.
time for this combination, Reg and Julie Smith, to put up or shut up. Have they got a 51 in them?
Well, they need it because Baden Gray's just done his fastest lap of the weekend in the final of Scott Waterjet Group A.
Well, you ask these guys before the meeting start, what's the ultimate game plan? And that is it, to go fastest in the two.
Well, his fastest split up until now was a 30.02 in the top 8, and he's got 4 tenths to find on that split, just set by Baden Gray.
And the thing about this course, it's not easy to bring it home quickly. What is the split? 30.06. So it's not as fast as his fastest split, but it's nowhere near Baden Gray.
Only 4/100ths of a second though. We saw Sam Newdick with a big improvement on the second half of his lap in the 4. Can Reg Smith do the same? Needs a 51.55 to beat Baden Gray. Here's the run home.
Heading down to the finish line, 1 corner to come, and then it's flat out through the finish line. Is it going to be a 51? It is a 51, but it's not a 51.5, it's a 51.9, and Baden Gray wins here in Wanganui. Reg Smith is second.
Few nerves the previous run, but this lady had a word to me and settled me down. It was all good.
Between you and Bevan, you've been the fastest boat all day, and you've capped it off with a win. Must feel good.
We've got a real good package. We're a bit disappointed how we went in Aussie, and we weren't too sure how our package was, but yeah, sorry about that.
You went faster than you've ever gone before, but it wasn't quite fast enough.
Yeah, I was a bit frightened of Baden and being able to pull one out, and we figured we had to do the same. I knew that I had to go as quick as I've ever done, but we're getting a lot of water in the boat, but hey, won't use that as an excuse. We're going as quick as we could.
Well, after 1 round of 6, it is close at the top in Scott Waterjet International Group A. Baden Gray and Tanya Imanger on top on 30 points. In second place, Reg and Julie Smith. And in third place, Sam Newdick and Nick McIndoe.